Hi, my name is Mike Busch, architectural designer and house renovator. I just wanted to take a moment to introduce myself and to show you my work. To begin with, we're here at the entryway of the house. When we first purchased the house, it was quite bland and visually unattractive. I wanted to transform the space into a more dramatic, visually appealing space. One that also harmonized well with its natural environment and the beauty of its landscape. To achieve that effect, I used natural materials such as river rock, copper accents, and wooded trim that you'll also see is prevalent throughout the rest of the house. So if you'll follow me along, I would like to take you inside now. We're in the foyer now. This is one of my favorite places of the house, considering what it looked like beforehand. When we first purchased the property, there was a massive closet here that was quite intimidating and completely dominated the space. We've eliminated the closet, thereby opening up the space and making it much more welcoming and inviting. As well, you can now see the fireplace, which we consider to be quite attractive aspect of the house, which we'll get to later. We've also designed and constructed this banister here using natural materials, wood and cast iron. We just feel like this is a nice space right now. So this is the kitchen. The previous kitchen was cramped, confining. It just didn't work very well. There were partition walls in odd places that made the space feel more like a maze than a kitchen. I thought it best to just gut the entire space and to work from scratch. Doing so is always a lot of fun because it allows you to work with a blank slate and to design a kitchen from the floor up. At the same time, you do have to work within the existing structure. There are existing windows or existing doorways, the structure of the ceiling. You do have to work within those confinements. The ceiling in particular is a unique design feature of the kitchen. It resembles the overturned hull of a ship, which blends in well with the cabinetry actually. If you take a look at the hardware is actually reminiscent of hardware that you would find on a ship. As well, the cabinets themselves were built in what's called shipbuilder's fashion, which is minimal signs of joinery. Another challenge of the kitchen was to get the lighting correct. As you can see, I've put in accent lighting underneath the cabinets, as well as decorative accent lighting within the upper cabinets themselves. There was a wall of cabinets that we removed to open up the space between the kitchen and the dining room space. We're in the dining room now, which the kitchen flows into nicely via the pass-through. The French doors, which when open, create a seamless transition from the indoors to the outdoors, and vice versa. The dining room is also where the sightlines to the house originate. I also wanted to point out this mirror over here, which I made using recycled waste materials. The mirror itself was actually previously in an upstairs bathroom, and the wood trim comes from the demolition of the kitchen. This is the living room, where you see the French doors. There used to be a window. I converted it into French doors, and just beyond that, I constructed a deck. So now when you open up the French doors, you can walk out onto the deck, and it plays into the indoor-outdoor capabilities of the house. I opened up this wall between the living room and what used to be the master bedroom, but we now use as a family room. I also enlarged the picture window at the far end, which you see, to take advantage of the sightlines of the house. The width and the height of the window, the width and the height of this door mimic the width and the height of the other entryways along these sightlines of the house. Now we're at the fireplace, which we mentioned earlier when we talked about the entryway. This is easily in the top 3 of the biggest challenges I've ever faced in 10 years of renovating houses. The problem is that the previous owners had just blasted the whole thing with white paint. And I had professional paint strippers in here, I had professional sandblasters in here. We could not get the white paint off of this fireplace. So as a result, the solution I came up with was to hire a friend who's a fine artist. And she came in and she painted the fireplace to look like real stone. And she did a fantastic job of painting the face of the stones. However, the fireplace still looked a little bit fake at the end because the grout, the mortar in between the stones just did not look real. So to remedy that, I took children's play sand and I added it to paint and then applied that using my fingers, which thus created the real look and feel of real mortar. That's it in a nutshell, a quick example of what I do. Thank you for letting me show you my work.